So this isn't the full solution, but I'm going to put it here, O1.
This is a big screen.
So, well, I can actually do it right here. So in my filter, if I need to reference this cell and this cell, I would essentially come in and say, well, this is equal to this cell, E5. Oops. Lock that reference down. And here's where I'm doing the ampersand, double quote, pipe, double quote, ampersand, this cell here. And so it interprets it as that. But what it's really looking at is...
And where do you put that?
This is going to be one of your filters in your function. So I need to say, okay, bring me back all the customers that posted in this date range or that date range. So whenever you're making a reference to the posting date for the items or the customer, we want to make sure we get both of these date ranges. But I can't just say this or that. It doesn't understand it. So I need to do this weird little ampersand, concatenate this little pipe in between them, and then look at this other cell.
So here, I need to have...
So in your posting date,
that.
exactly. So we'll do D4, you got that. And then ampersand. Oh, we need an ampersand so it knows to concatenate it.
Oh, it goes before and after this.
Mm-hmm. There we go. So before, and then after the double quote, and then that other cell. And there you go. And lock that one down. And now it understands the value that I find in this cell, pipe,
Gotcha.
the value I find in this cell.
Okay. So,
Hopefully you'll never have to do anything quite like that. But at least you have the syntax should you ever need to.
okay. So, no, dang it.
And then I'm also going to make a reminder. Typically I have these all on everyone's desktop. We actually have all the solutions to these problems, so that way you could always go back and review them and look it over. And so anything that we've covered as far as the examples or exercises in the book, you'll have as a frame of reference. So you could always go back to this report and find this, should you need it.
I've got an error method that says the local database cannot be opened.
Okay, go ahead and hit OK. And we're going to just save that real quick. And we'll close Excel and start it back up. That's what we were trying to prevent with all our little, let's change this and change that. But a couple people still have had it today.
I'm sorry.
After today, it shouldn't be an issue. Because you're not going to be accessing a local data file. You're going to be accessing your SQL database. So, the issue was, let's go back to, hit cancel. Let's go back to our report real quick. Run the report.
Give me an empty cell.
Let's see where it is and why it's doing that for us.
And everything else is yours. I
Exactly.
want that,
Oh,
right?
Yep. So let's go down to where the empty cell is. Okay, hit OK. Now let's go ahead and hit unhide real quick. And we'll take a look at what's going on. The problem is right here, this description is trying to look at this cell. There's nothing there. So there's no item number for it to pull. So let's go back into design and take a look at our item function here. So let's look at the item number one. Sorry, the actual I-11, the actual, there we go. So rows, item ledger entry, and item number, posting date. We want to have the posting date of one of those two. Right? We still want to do our, that weird ampersand one, so we'll need to put that. So it's that date or this date. Man, you're on the old version of Jet. Nope, nope. Just, it was very strange. Source number 11, entry type 7. And then we've got one filter we're missing out of there.
Out of this one?
Out of your item number one. Give me all the items during that date range for that customer. That is a sale. Actually, I do think you have them all. Unless you filter it down to a specific item or customer, but we're not doing that. So go ahead and hit OK. Let's try and run the report again. I think I might have forgotten an ampersand or something. Yep. Hard to read. Because that one moved down. Yeah.
No,
Okay, so that.
okay, right?
Yeah, I think so. Because we're not getting an error. Let's go ahead and hit OK. But I think that the reason was D5 was moving around. And so it eventually got to a blank cell. There we go. Oh, except all our dates are wrong. So we got all our items, so let's take a look at our amounts. Let's see, give me the sum of the purchase amount. I think, do we want purchase amount? I think it just might be amount. Sales. Is that what it was? Sales amount actual.
Of sales amount.
Sales amount actual. There it is in the hits. So that's probably why we're, these are sales and we're pulling a purchase.
Yes.
There we go. Now we're getting some values. Alright, scroll down. Hopefully we should have some. There we have some where it's 1 month and not the other. Although, it's strange that, go back up. Yeah, see we have one somewhere in there where there's none in either, right? We should have something there. So something's going on with the filtering, I believe. Let's look at our design real quick and look at those two functions. We can fix our subtotal real quick.
Yep.
Okay, so let's take a look at our amount there. Our sales amount actual, source number is E11, our seller workaround. My number is I11, great. Posting date is E4, which is the first month. Entry type is sale.
No, reading better than.
No, because if we bought something, I would hope we paid something for it. Or I'm sure our customer would. Source number, item number. Entry type of sale. Item number is I11, which will be moving down. First number is E11. So why is it? So hit OK. Maybe it's in our item number. Let me check that already. Posting dates, either the source number is the type of sale. Trying to figure out why you're getting a bunch of zeros there. It's always going to be something really small and tiny. Okay, you have 4 filters, right? You have posting date, source number, item number, and sale on your sum function.
I need an item number filtered for my item number? Like for which?
Well, on
function?
your total sales.
Um,
So let's look at your first one. You have sum, item ledger entry, sales amount actual. Right? You have a posting date, source number, item number, and entry type. Those 4. Higher dates rate, 2008 and 2007. Yeah. I guess we gave away things for free. So here we are trying to determine it. And these are all, we just gave them away apparently to Candoxi, Netherlands.
Okay, so you got the same thing.
Yeah. I've never really scrolled down that far. We just kind of look at it and say, oh yeah, great. Or I'm sure I've done this many times and just not paid attention to that. So yeah, that's what our second report should look like.
I get on the first one, I get a blank customer.
Okay, so let's take a look real quick.
Can I get
So-
rid of it?
Yep, let's go back to our design and take a look at that replicator there. So what we're saying is go into the item ledger entry table, okay? Bring me back source numbers, great. Posting date is those. Source number is, okay, you've got it filtering up to the customer number. Item number could be one of those things, but we also need to add a sale.
Sale?
We need to add, oh, it's not sale, it's one of the hints.
What is your?
Entry type.
I don't have anything for John Paddock.
Customer is the source number on the field when
Entry
the
type.
entry type is sale. So we would have another filter up there, or you could hard code it in.
I
Okay, so
I made it wrong here.
okay, so yeah, do
Okay,
entry type there.
Entry type, okay. I wasn't able to find that in the entry type. Okay.
And
Well.
no, you can hard code that in, or you can filter it up there either way.
So purchase, right?
And we want sale.
Of sale?
Right. We purchase things from our vendor. We sell things to our customers. And so what was happening is because you weren't filtering that, somewhere in our our item ledger entry table, we actually moved something that didn't have a source number. It was probably warehouse to warehouse. And so there was no vendor and there was no customer involved. And so there was a blank value for that source.
Oh yeah, I forgot to make. But I added subtotals.
Even better. They compare totals on the month to month. Doing okay over here? No, it's okay. Yeah, you got your cell reference workaround, you got your first, looks like you got your rows.
So, if I wanted a full month report,
What would you?
would I have to have 12?
If you wanted to see it every single month.
You don't
Yeah.
have filter.
We'll talk about that when we talk about the GL function. I'll show you how you can dynamically build out those months for
Is that
yourself,
the
so you don't have
Yeah,
to do
I
it.
think you showed us in that earlier version, okay.
And I have a file that I actually created this, and I'll try and remember, I'll put that in there as well. I think I have it on my desktop.
Okay.
It's getting very warm. Dates. So this is one of those things where I said, give me a start date, give me an end date. I created a range, how many years back do you want to go, what year to start. And so here it's showing me year over year dynamically building this using a columns, and then a columns to build out going forward.
That'd be nice.
So I can see here's 3 years back, each year summarized, and then going forward every single month from January until
Oh, that's nice.
December of 2017. And all I really did was I've got these two columns,
Yeah.
and it just dynamically builds it out.
As part of the run.
Did you send that? Really wonderful.
Yeah, everybody likes this file. This one's a little bit more complex because I actually built in, when I was working with the client, this was actually specifically for a client. There were 3 guys on the call. I said, well, how many years back do you need to go? One guy said 3, one guy said 5, one guy said, I don't care. Well, which one is it? I need to know. So I actually had to build in some, an option to say, well, how many years back do you want to go? I want to go back 10 years. And I've got 10 years of historical data and then going forward. So, and then I can use these date ranges for my filters. Say, okay.